This car changed America forever, but not for the reasons you think. It wasn't just fast or stylish, it was the first car that made people feel seen, affordable, powerful, personal, and it didn't come from Detroit's elite, it came from a team of underdogs, one bold vision, and a deadline no one thought they'd meet. This is the untold story of the original 1964 Ford Mustang, the car that didn't just start a revolution, it became one. How it all began. It all started in the early 1960s. America was changing fast. Young people didn't want the big, boring cars their parents drove. They wanted something new, something exciting. Ford's sales were slipping, and the company needed a bold move to stay alive. That's when Lee Iacocca, a young executive at Ford, stepped in. He saw a big gap in the market, a car that was sporty, affordable, and felt custom-made for the youth. Not a muscle car, not a family sedan. Something in between, a pony car. At that time, nothing like it existed. The idea was risky. Ford's top leadership wasn't sure. But Iacocca pushed hard. He believed in the dream, and he had a team ready to build it. But there was a catch. They had just 18 months to design it from scratch. And that's where the Mustang's true story begins. Not with metal or motors, but with pressure, passion, and a prototype, secret designs and lost models. Before the world saw the Mustang we know today, Ford had to go through a series of bold experiments. The first prototype was the 1962 Mustang Prime, a sleek two-seater mid-engine sports car. It looked fast and it was fast, but it wasn't practical for everyday drivers. It felt more like a race car than something you'd take to work. Next came the Mustang II in 1963, a four-seater design built on the compact Ford Falcon chassis. It was more realistic, more affordable, and it brought the Mustang closer to what we eventually saw in 1964. But here's what most people don't know. Ford also tested rare, experimental designs like a Mustang station wagon and an early fastback, which never made it into production. Only a few of those prototypes were built, and they've mostly disappeared into history. These early models show one thing very clearly. The Mustang wasn't born in a moment, it was shaped through trial, risk, and imagination. And once the design was locked in, Ford had to do something they'd never done before, launch a car in a way the world had never seen. April 17, 1964. A star is born. On April 17, 1964, something incredible happened. At the New York World's Fair, Ford officially introduced the Mustang to the world. This wasn't just a small press event, it was a nationwide campaign. Ford launched TV commercials, newspaper ads, and filled showrooms with the new Mustang. All on the very same day. And the response? It was unbelievable. Over 22,000 Mustangs were sold within the first 24 hours. Some dealerships had people lining up overnight. Others had to break their display windows just to get the cars out because customers wouldn't wait. Ford called it the 1964 Mustang because it launched in the middle of the model year, something very rare at the time. This wasn't just a successful car launch, this was the birth of a phenomenon. And after this launch, the Mustang had one clear message. This car was made for you. But what made the Mustang so attractive wasn't just the marketing. It was the way it looked. Let's explore why it stood out the moment you laid eyes on it. Why the Mustang looked like no other car. The first thing people noticed about the Mustang was its look. It didn't look like a family car, and it wasn't shaped like a sports car either. It had something unique, a long front hood and a short rear deck. This gave the Mustang a powerful, aggressive stance but still kept it affordable and practical. The front grille had a chrome pony in the middle, a running horse that became the symbol of freedom and speed. The side scoops, clean lines, and sharp angles gave it a sporty feel, while the three-bar taillights became instantly recognizable. The man behind the design was Joe Oros, and his team at Ford had one goal: to make a car that looked stylish but could still be sold in big numbers. Joe once said, "We wanted a car that women would love but men would want to drive." Another key feature: customization. Buyers could choose from coupe or convertible, 6-cylinder or V8, and dozens of colors, wheels, and options. In simple words, it looked cool, and it felt personal. And once people were sold on the design, there was only one thing left to prove. How did it drive? Behind the wheel of a 1964 Mustang is like stepping back in time. It's not just about transportation, it's about connection. Turn the key and the engine comes to life with a deep, raw V8 growl. It's not loud in a fake way, it's the natural sound of real American power. Most early Mustangs came with a 3-speed or 4-speed manual gearbox. That means you control the car. Every shift, every move is done by hand. You feel everything, from the clutch to the throttle to the road itself. The steering isn't light like modern cars. You have to guide it with effort, but that's what makes it authentic. Even the ride feels different. The suspension gives you feedback from the road. It's not too soft, not too stiff, just right for spirited driving. And if you had the 260 or 289 cubic inch V8, you could feel a surprising amount of power under your foot. The Mustang wasn't built to be a race car, but for its time it felt fast, fun, and most of all, free. It's this driving feel, honest and emotional, that made people fall in love. And once people drove it, they didn't just see a car, they saw a piece of American culture. Next came something no one expected, a cultural explosion. Mustang becomes an icon. By the end of 1964, the Mustang wasn't just a car, it was a cultural icon. It showed up in magazines, movies, TV shows, and music videos. It captured the spirit of the time. Young people wanted freedom, identity, and something bold. And the Mustang gave them all of that, on 4 wheels. One of its first major film appearances, James Bond's Goldfinger, released the same year. From there, Mustang began to pop up everywhere. In Hollywood, in car shows, and even in high school parking lots. Ford had originally hoped to sell 100,000 Mustangs in the first year. Instead, they sold over 400,000. By 1966, that number crossed 1 million, a record no other car had ever reached so fast. It didn't matter if you were rich or working class, the Mustang was for everyone. You could buy the base model or go full performance with the GT or a V8. Mustang clubs started forming, and for many families, buying a Mustang became a rite of passage. People didn't just drive Mustangs, they remembered them. And as the love for this car grew, Ford began expanding the lineup, adding new shapes, stronger engines, and even race-ready versions. Let's take a look at the special editions that made the Mustang even more unforgettable. Fastback, GT, and Shelby. Join the legacy. As the Mustang's popularity exploded, Ford didn't sit still. They started adding new versions to reach different kinds of drivers. In 1965, Ford introduced the Fastback model. This version had a sloping rear roof that made the car look even faster and more aggressive. It became an instant hit with drivers who wanted a sportier look. Next came the Mustang GT, which included performance upgrades, a stronger suspension, dual exhaust, special badging, and optional fog lights. It was the choice for those who wanted more power, more style, and a louder voice on the street. But the biggest step forward came with a man named Carroll Shelby. Shelby was a former race car driver and a performance genius. In partnership with Ford, he built the Shelby GT350 in 1965. It was lighter, faster, louder, and built for the track. Only 562 units of the GT350 were made in its first year, making it one of the rarest and most desired Mustangs of all time. These versions proved one thing: the Mustang could be anything. A stylish cruiser, a budget car, or a full-blown race machine. This flexibility is what made Mustang a car people could grow with, from their first drive to their last. And as Mustang evolved, so did its place in history. Let's explore the legacy this car left behind. What the original Mustang left behind. The original Mustang didn't just make history, it rewrote the rules of what a car could be. Before the Mustang, cars were either boring and practical, or fast and expensive. The Mustang proved you could have style, speed, and affordability all in one. In just its first 2 years, Ford sold over 1 million Mustangs. That had never happened before with any car. It created a whole new type of car called the pony car. Small, sporty, powerful, and affordable. And soon competitors followed. The Chevy Camaro, Pontiac Firebird, Dodge Challenger. They were all answers to the Mustang. But none of them had the same magic. The Mustang became a symbol of freedom, especially for young people. It was the first car many Americans ever bought with their own money, a sign that they had made it. It also became a part of American pop culture, from movies like Bullet with Steve McQueen, to being featured in music videos, video games, and even postage stamps. And even now, 60 years later, the Mustang name is still alive, evolving with the times, but never forgetting where it came from. Because at its heart, the Mustang was always about one thing: driving the dream. The 1964 Ford Mustang wasn't just a car, it was a movement. It gave power to the people, and changed what owning a car meant in America. It proved that bold ideas, a strong team, and a little risk can create something truly legendary. Even today, when we see a classic Mustang pass by, we don't just see chrome and steel, we see history in motion. Now it's your turn. What's your favorite memory of the Mustang? Did you or someone in your family ever own one? Tell us in the comments below, we'd love to hear your story. And if you enjoyed this deep dive into Mustang history, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon so you never miss another episode of Regal Rides. Thanks for watching. And remember, some legends never fade, they just shift into a higher gear.